Hi, everyone. Welcome. I'm Coach Riana Milne, and I'm really glad that you're here with me tonight. Happy summer love. I hope you guys are out there dating, finding some love, having a good time. And if not, you're in the right room. And if you are dating, I want you to be safe and careful and really attract emotionally healthy, evolved, and conscious love. And indeed, there is an art and psychology to dating successfully. I've been a psychotherapist for 22 years and a certified global life, love, trauma recovery, and mindset coach, starting my research with Live Beyond Your Dreams in 2008, getting certified from RCI 2009 and 10, and then doing the deep research on the impact, which is massive, between unhealed childhood trauma and toxic love relationships. So you're going to learn a little bit about that tonight. What are the common mistakes people are making when they're out there looking for love? And that is the number one human need. We all want and desire love in our lives. But when you've been through toxic love, and I have been, and every student of mine has been, it could shake you to the core and keep you really stuck in negativity and these fear-based negative thinking and even rumination of the victimization of what you went through, because it really is trauma, and trauma affects the brain and the body and so many other areas of your life, which I will explain tonight. So it's super important that you heal the trauma before you're out there dating and looking for love, because you want to go out there very empowered, very confident, and know that you are the whole package. So that is what I'm here to help you with tonight. So we're going into PowerPoint. Like I said earlier, I have a couple of students in tonight. My students and grads are always welcome. They often speak up and they often answer questions in chat. So if I don't see them because I'm focusing on the educational material, they'll jump in and answer them for you. That's just how they are. Okay, we're a big family here. And now I've been doing this for 22 years. I'm so excited when I see a new engagement, new marriage, new baby coming into the family. And I opened my Facebook page today. I have a picture of one of my grads, Jacqueline, and she sent a beautiful bridal shot on my Facebook today. I'm like, yes, there's another one. We celebrate all these wonderful wins. I just am so honored to be able to help these fabulous people that have shared their lives with me. So to my students here tonight, I always love and thank you guys, and let's get you rolling. 10 things you didn't know and must about falling in love. You want to know the secrets to avoid love trauma and attract emotionally healthy, evolved, and conscious love. So important. And again, I am your host and your life and love coach, Riana Milne. And I'm always here to help you if you should ever need it. Tonight, you're going to discover the 10 common mistakes most people make in dating and love, the connection between childhood trauma and attracting toxic love. It is major. It is the main reason. So if you've ever suffered in love, you're going to know exactly why tonight. The things you can do right now to find quality love instead of having toxic love, how to be more confident and successful with your dating while you're out there, understand the important qualities to look for while dating. This is for you if you're feeling frustrated or afraid, so you just stop dating altogether. You might have been out there and you're meeting all these creepy people, so you just stopped. Or instead, you went through love trauma and you just kind of felt afraid or paralyzed to get out there. And many of my clients say, I haven't dated in years. Finally, they're dating now, when they work with me, and they absolutely love it. You might be too busy with work or choosing not to date right now. But very often, work becomes workaholism because that's working for you, but it's also a cover up for not getting out to date, not having that balance in life. You might be dating a lot, but not finding the one. You might be with a partner now, but know deep down they're not right for you or emotionally healthy, and you have some major concerns. You need to listen to your gut and your intuition. If you're tired of picking all the wrong people to date, repeatedly get hurt by narcissistic, angry, moody, or sociopathic partners, you want to be engaged. You're in that age group. Well, it could either be you're young and you want to be engaged, or even older, going into retirement. You want that partner in the social symbol. Maybe you still want to get married and have kids, or have that lifelong partner for retirement. You want to know why finding love seems so hard for you and so easy for everybody else. You look around, it's like, she has a partner. Why don't I have one? He's got a partner. And look at his girlfriend. I should be able to have a partner. So you can. That's the important thing to know. But you just need to know the exact psychological skills to attract an emotionally healthy, evolved, and conscious partner. And again, I am talking the psychology of dating in everything, even your online profile, even the pictures I pick out for you. There's things that people think this picture is good, and it may not be. There's an art and a science every step of the way. And believe me, when my students' profiles are rewritten, their success factor goes out the roof. It's like night and day difference. My coaching lessons are from my research in childhood and love trauma. You need to know there is a real and serious connection between the two of them. You need to heal first from your past childhood trauma to make all your relationships successful. And I'm talking even parent-child, friendship relationships, your sibling relationships, and your love relationships, even your coworkers' relationships. We got to heal all of that. And there's a lot of dating relationship advice out there. It's true, but none that get to the really deeper psychological issues and the root of the unconscious behavioral patterns and the trauma behavioral system. That's really important for you to get to have the edge in dating. And singles aren't even aware they're doing what they're doing. These behavioral patterns, or what we call norms, are so normalized for them that they don't know that they're doing things that really need to be cleaned up. In class last night with my group, we even talked about vocal habits, things that are said that don't sound so polished. We are consciously aware of everything. And knowing this information made a huge difference for my clients. And they also now have the mindset for success in life and love, meaning that they have raised their self-esteem, their confidence levels, they feel sexy, they feel attractive, and they feel ready and empowered to date. Just a little bit about me. If you haven't met me yet, I am a global certified life, love, trauma, recovery, and mindset coach. I'm an advanced CCTP. So I took level 1 and level 2, and you have to be a licensed mental health counselor or licensed social worker to even get a CCTP. This is years of education, lots of investment in my education, but I always invest in education. The trauma work I do is from both education and working for years as a SAC counselor with grades kindergarten through college, all these kids that were traumatized, the students in the schools. I worked in a mental health unit for kids 5 through 19. I'm a drug and alcohol addictions counselor, both in New Jersey and Florida, licensed mental health counselor over 22 years. In August, I'll be starting 23. I was a dating coach on a few series called Radical Dating, Finding Lasting Love. And my client, Scott, was the first one to date, first one to have an exclusive partnership, and the first one to marry. And he's still happily married. I'm the #1 bestseller now of 9 books. I just finished 2 more this past month, and always do write down my website, rianamilne.com. We have tons of free resources there, and I'm always trying to add more. Just a little bit more about me. My book, Love Beyond Your Dreams, was a #1 Amazon bestseller. Live Beyond Your Dreams is the partner book about the mindset for success. I was featured in Forbes magazine for teaching women success tips. Wealth Insider voted me one of the top 10 coaches to follow in year 2022. In year 2021, I was very honored to find out I was voted one of the top 100 successful women around the world. That was a really nice surprise. And my podcast, again, is called Lessons in Life and Love. Please do listen in and give it a 5-star rating and some comments. Those are all free for you, for your education. I just love to hear your feedback. I've also been featured in every news station. One of my favorite news features when I was brought on for the trauma of 9/11, for the series of the psychological trauma, helping children with the trauma, families with the trauma, people that lost loved ones with the trauma. 9/11 happened to all of us, but me being in New Jersey at the time, we had a lot of families that were really impacted. So any way that I can serve in healing and helping people with trauma, it is my passion and my purpose. Let's get going with the topic, the 10 top mistakes. Just know, guys, if you've been struggling with love up to now, please know it's not your fault. No one taught us how to date successfully. Think about it. We grew up with fairy tales and romance novels and movies. That's how we learned. We certainly didn't learn about beautiful relationships from our parents, most of us, right? Mistake 1. What we learned is if there's chemistry, chemistry, he's the one or she's the one. And that's not true. Chemistry is one of the worst ways to fall in love. We have to be a lot more educated. Yes, there has to be an attraction factor, no doubt. Obviously, you want to be making love to this person when the time is right. So attraction, yes, but it can't be all about the chemistry. There's so many other things that you must know about who to move forward with in dating and who not, and why. There's a more emotionally intelligent way and successful way to date. This gives you a huge psychological edge when you know what it is. And then you will attract that emotionally healthy, evolved, and conscious partner because you know what to do and what not to do. And you're looking for people while you're out on your date. That means to be consciously aware. You're listening to the words they say, the body language, how they relate to you, the requests, listening to their life. And we understand everyone has childhood trauma, but we're listening for what they are, what the severity levels are, and if they've healed that trauma. So there's really a lot to know that people have no idea until you get involved with coaching with me. So why chemistry is a problem, going a little bit deeper here. Having chemistry also leads to the toxic partners with similar characteristics of our difficult parents. And the reason is our brain likes consistency, which we call homeostasis. Even if that person's emotionally unhealthy for us, this is why most people repeat toxic relationship patterns and attract similar partners. Partner A, then partner B, then partner C. It's like, why do I keep getting toxic people? And it's because you haven't healed the original childhood trauma. And this dilemma we call RRS, relationship repetition syndrome. It also applies to when you keep going back to the same toxic person, like you break up and the normal range of the breakup time period is 10 days to 2 weeks. Then they weasel their way back in. And then, again, it's you're back again. And the research shows the average time open that you go back and break up and go back and break up is 7 times. This is a very common pattern, and you want to break it because it really drives you about crazy. What happens in homeostasis, in order to survive, it unconsciously believes your thoughts and your feelings to be true about a person, even when they're not. So the brain goes wild after sex because we have all these phenylanolines, dopamine, serotonin, all floating through your brain, which bonds you quickly to someone before you really know them. And then we discuss 36 red flags with my students. Been sexual too soon, you are bound not to see the red flags, or you say, oh, they'll change, or they're just nervous, or there's always an excuse. You're not looking at them because the brain and the body doesn't want to. Mistake number 2 is hooking up. You've got to know sex does not equal love or mean exclusivity unless you've had that conversation. You don't want to have sex to convince someone to love you. Being intimate too early ruins your chances at love. It's just sex. Research shows that building a strong foundation in friendship first is the best way to create lasting, sustainable love relationship. I've been coaching this stuff for 22 years. And none of my couples have divorced. And because I see them on my Facebook page, once they graduate, they're allowed at my personal Facebook page, and they're still having anniversaries. And I say, oh my God, how many years is this for you guys? 12, 14, 16. Riana, it's because of you. And I'm talking about really broken relationships. Sex does not equal love. Build the friendship first. Super important. Mistake number 3, rushing back out there to date. Did you ever hear, and I remember growing up, oh, it didn't work out. Go ahead, get up on the saddle and get back out there. And the problem is dating too quickly after a breakup or a divorce just to feel better really tends to sabotage your success, because you could start missing your ex because you're comparing everyone else to your ex, and then you have a tendency to go back. And this is why I tell my singles, you never date anyone who's separated. They are not totally single, period. Or you might come across too needy or desperate, or to prove that, yes, you're pretty and desirable because your partner had an affair on you. You really need to psychologically heal. And I'm not just saying sitting around and time. I'm talking healing the trauma that you went through with a certified trauma coach, so that you really do feel much better about yourself. Then you're going out and dating in an empowered state. Healing yourself first and getting yourself back. But I always say, but better. because my clients always feel so much better than they ever did before meeting that husband or that wife. So you want to become a successful single first is what we call it. It's the best thing you can do to attract that emotionally healthy partner. Mistake number 4, not taking the time to heal that past childhood trauma or thinking, it's not a problem. Sure, everybody's got something, because the connection between the two are super strong, and you were bound to repeat and attract toxic partners or difficult partners again if we don't get to the initial root of the issue that is driving you to the toxic partners. I hope this is making sense, because that definite connection between love trauma and the top 10 traumas is huge. And it was after I had a couple love traumas and I had to stop and think, why is this happening to me? I'm a good lady. I'm spiritual. I'm kind. I help others. I'm a great mom. My girls are successful. I work hard. I have a lot to offer a partner, and I couldn't understand it. And I went to therapist friends, because I'm a therapist, and they knew my partner, and they're like, we don't know what's wrong with him. They couldn't figure out that. They couldn't figure out how to help me. And there was nothing in our manual of for psychotherapists, called the DSM-4 at the time, on how to heal love trauma, because love trauma is not even named. So I went to do the research because I had to heal myself. As I was doing it, I was so amazed. I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. People have to know this. So I started with my own clients in New Jersey, and I kept handing them worksheets. And they're like, oh my God, this is so good. This makes so much sense. It's like, Riana, you got to put it into a book. I'm like, yeah, one day. So that's why my clients now have a 150-page notebook, or 90 pages, depending on what program they're in, that really shows them very clearly what the patterns were, why they showed up, and how to heal and fix them and move forward. Really important. So I want to hit on what the 10 traumas are tonight, in case you've never heard this. I know that I asked you to write that down and do that for yourselves. So if you have questions on your own traumas at the end, again, I will be glad to answer them. So the first one is parental addiction, or any caretaker in the home, that could have been grandma, grandpa, to a substance or compulsive behavior like gambling, eating, spending, gaming, TV watching, workaholism, drugs or alcohol, of course, sex, meaning you knew your parent was a cheater. There's 12 of them, and they're named in my free ebook, Have the Love You Deserve. If you have not gotten that yet, you can get that on my website. Verbal messaging or abuse. You witnessed or received yelling, cursing, verbal put downs, or given the silent treatment. You're not hearing the words, I love you, I'm proud of you. You're not giving any verbal accolades. That was one of mine. I never heard the words, I love you. Not from my mom. My dad was rarely home, but we didn't know it. He was FBI, CIA. And that's one of my other traumas, which I'll discuss in a second. So another one is emotional abuse or neglect, or you witnessed domestic violence. They were yelling at you or yelling at each other. You felt afraid when you might have been left alone during long periods of times. And I know, as baby boomers, we were latchkey kids. It's like, let yourself in, because there were no phones. There were no cameras in the house. Maybe they did a phone call. We had a landline and they would check on us, but it was rare. You just let yourself in, and you might have been there for 2 hours till your parents got home. And that counts, by the way. That was in the research. Number 4 is sexual abuse, rape, or molestation. That could have happened inside or outside of the home. A date rape when you were a little older, or by a stranger you didn't know at all. The majority of the rapes, unfortunately, are done by family members, cousins, uncles, grandparents, parents. So many times people have shame around this, and you are just an innocent child. None of these traumas are your fault. So it's important that we talk about it and heal it and rewrite the story and help you get some healing around it. Abandonment is a big one. And again, that's from either parent, fault or no fault. So my dad needing to be away from home as this FBI, CIA guy that none of us knew he was James Bond. We didn't know where he was. So I was left as a child saying, where's dad? When's he coming home? Is he all right? That absence and wondering, is he okay? That's a need to be safe, to feel safe, or worrying if he's okay. That's no fault. Another no fault is if a parent dies early, or if they leave to serve for war for your country. A fault abandonment is a parent never involved in your life, or they were while the relationship was together or married, they break up and you barely saw that parent. Or even an emotional abandonment, meaning the parent was in the house, but they rarely engaged with you. So they might go from the work office, eat dinner, to a home office, or sit in front of the TV all weekend and watch sports, never going to your events, things like that. So there's a lot that falls under abandonment. Trauma 6 is if you were part of foster care, you were adopted, or had to live with other family, friends, relatives, just away from home, or you selected to be away from home because it was so toxic and you didn't want to be there. Trauma number 7, we call personal trauma. This is if you felt worthless or just different. You were bullied as a kid, or if you had a medical condition. I know all my kids who were diagnosed ADHD in the schools that I worked with, or oppositional defiant or difficult kids. These were the kids that really had home trauma. So many were labeled ADHD when I said, no, they have trauma at home. So I was an advocate really early on when childhood trauma wasn't even known about or talked about. It's relatively new. Like, it was not a term that I heard in my triple master's of psychology. And I graduated year 2000. So not until 2012, when I did the research to help myself, that I come up with a childhood trauma checklist. This was my checklist with all my years of experience, even working with women from the prison system in the rehab center, teens in the rehab center, all this combined experience and my own experience and that of my partners. That's how I created this list. Sibling trauma. Your sibling is the golden child, the favored one, and you could just tell that as you were growing up. Or they suffered from a medical issue and your parents had to spend extra time with them, or they were always mean to you and they bullied you constantly. Number 9, family and community trauma. This could be frequent moves because you're part of a military family, meaning you're always the new kid in school, or loss of home due to flood, fire, Mother Nature event. Or you grew up in poverty, parent was incarcerated, COVID has wreaked havoc in our world. Active war zone, poor people of Ukraine, what they're going through right now, that's extreme trauma. I've worked with other people from other countries. I'm thinking of someone I worked with from Lebanon. She goes, every day we'd wake up, Riana, I didn't know if I'd be alive because the bombs went off all night long. Think about things like that people go through. And number 10 is having an unstable parent with mental health issues. And a lot of the people in the baby boomer generation, we didn't see our parents go to counselors. They often had pills by the bedside, diet pills or whatever they were for. We didn't even ask questions. If your parent was bipolar, meaning manic depression, so a manic is a high and happy phase, but often mixed with an addiction like alcohol or gambling. And then the depression can show as extreme fatigue, anger even, and just checking out emotionally. Borderline, I think, is one of the most difficult personality disorders because the child's left in such high anxiety. One time the parent's really nice, and the other one, they get so pissed off and so angry at a moment's notice. And you never know what you're going to get. It's like walking on eggshells all the time. And they would explode at things that nobody else would get upset at. So it's very difficult for the child. Or you had a narcissistic parent, depressed, ongoing anxiety. They were critical. They were controlling of you. They never liked your ideas or told you, I believe in you. I have faith in you. They had fast trigger anger. They were addicted, moody, or your parent bullied you.
Do you feel like you have tried everything? Self-help books, therapy, relationship summits, retreats, online courses, podcasts. But you still struggle with toxic love, attracting narcissistic partners, ongoing anxiety, depression, codependency, love addiction, stress, moodiness, lack of hope, feeling stuck in your career, and you just can't seem to get love right. It's time to heal your unconscious behavioral patterns caused by unhealed childhood trauma. I'm Riana Milne, the love trauma recovery expert and certified life and love coach who helps thousands around the world, and I can help you too. I specialize in helping adults heal from unconscious childhood and love relationship traumas, emotional triggers, and dysfunctional behavioral patterns, which have been impacting them negatively in life, love, or business. to transform and create the life they desire and to have the love they deserve. Talk to me today at rianamilne.com and get the free ebook below to learn more.
If you keep finding yourself attracting narcissistic or obsessed controlling partners that rope you into toxic cycles of fighting, emotional or verbal abuse, you constantly shut down or show other dysfunctional behavioral patterns that ruin your chance at a loving, lasting relationship, then this is a sign that you still have unhealed childhood trauma. Many of my partners say, you know what, Riana, before this guy, I was never like this. I never had anger. I never yelled. I never kept my feelings to myself. But unfortunately, that is the pattern of domestic violence and the batterer. You eventually just lose yourself. And that's why it's so important to build your self-esteem back and your self-love before you go out there to date. It's critical. And understanding this is so important because you can heal from childhood and love trauma completely and learn to eliminate for good the negative, unconscious, fear-based thoughts and destructive, repetitive, unhealthy behavioral patterns that could be destroying your life and your dating and love relationships, because this impacts you in all areas. This chart is one of the breakdowns of all these areas it impacts you on. Starting first, like in the 1 o'clock position, is physical health. You could have sleep disorders, barely sleeping or sleeping too much, eating disorders, stress eating. Many of my people find that they're overweight because the stress was just so outrageous. Poor immune functioning, meaning you have Epstein-Barr virus, fibromyalgia. The Kaiser Permanente group that did a study with 17,000 people with childhood trauma found you have a shorter lifespan, cardiovascular disease, cancer. I mean, everything from that constant stress and the elevated cortisol levels in your body. We have holistic ways to lower all of that. And my clients learn that in class 1. You've got to start feeling better in your brain and your body first before you can take on the new information. So that's the first class we start with, addressing their physical health. And I do vitamin therapy meditation for everyone. Second is the emotions that we're touching on tonight. Difficulty controlling the emotions, recognizing things that you're doing, patterns that could be toxic and you're not seeing them. It's hard for you to cope with all the stress. So you're sensitive more to stress. You feel shame and guilt, excessive worry, feelings of hopelessness, and lack of self-esteem. Relationships, that's what we're hitting on tonight. It's huge. Attachment problems lead to toxic relationships. Poor understanding of social interactions. So a lot of my clients have little friends or trouble with their friendships, difficulty forming those friendships, problems in romantic relationships, of course. And then we learn from research, it does go through at least 3 generations childhood trauma. Mental health, that's even beyond is mental health. Depression, anxiety, negative self-esteem, PTSD, suicide ideation. And then behavioral issue, poor self-regulation, like it's hard to control your anger or your moods until the trauma is healed. Social withdrawal, you're just not feeling your best. So you want a relationship, but you're isolating at home. There's aggression when somebody does you wrong or ghosts you. You tend to get angry and fly off the handle. We get rid of all that with mindset. Poor impulse control, risk-taking, leading to some illegal activity, sexually acting out or using sex to feel loved or attractive. We make sure that pattern is broken. And for our teens, there's a lot of adolescent pregnancy and, of course, drug and alcohol misuse because you are masking the symptoms. And during COVID, everyone was so isolated and alone. I mean, it just skyrocketed all the addiction. And the other two with brain development, this is what our children are going through. These were the kids that I saw in the schools. Smaller brain size, not able to learn, changes in gene expression. That was proven with the offspring and the lineage of the Holocaust survivors. And cognition. So a lot of people initially that come to me, it's like, I can't remember anything. I have no memory. I'm in brain fog. So we make sure you are super focused and able to create the life you desire. Kirsten is one that I mentioned earlier. She's talking about her introductory discovery session that got to the core issues and problems.
I had just ended a 7-year on again, off again relationship. When it was finally over, I realized it was incredibly toxic. I was actually involved with a narcissist, which I didn't even understand what that meant until, I was in so much pain that I wanted to figure out what happened to me. I just was willing to do anything to get over this and move forward with my life. The one thing that you mentioned that really struck me was you had said that a lot of people have these unhealed childhood traumas that if they don't ever work through and figure out, it can lead to continual adult relationships that fail. And then we had that first introductory meeting, and I just feel like you understood me better than anyone. I've had therapy on and off in my life, but I felt like you really got down to the core issues really quickly in a way that nobody ever had.
Kirsten was the one that I said had 7 years of therapy. When she had the discovery session, she goes, "Oh my God, I finally know what's going on. Let's fix it." We did. So let's talk a lot about codependency, because most of my clients that come to me end up very codependent. And when dating, trauma can cause you to be this way, very needy or people pleasing. You started by people pleasing the difficult parent, the mom or dad, so you wouldn't get yelled at or they would be nicer to you. This is, again, a little child's mind. What can I do to be more loved? So most women do the people pleasing, and most men tend towards perfectionism, wanting things just so. To have a little bit of control in their childhood life, or they escape through self-medication at teenagers, destructive habits, pleasure seeking, leading to problems and addiction. So the factors leading to codependency, again, going back to my list, lack of love and nurturing. That's the verbal and emotional neglect, rejection and abandonment, family addiction, physical, emotional, or sexual abuse, mental or physical illness. So this is just one chart I found in my research that matched what I came up with. I might have named them a little bit differently, but there it is, as clear as day. Again, there's an art and science to attracting emotionally healthy love, and I help you break free of these emotional triggers that control you and ruin your life and your relationships. Just know that you can break free of anxiety, depression, fears within yourself, and the frustrations you've had with dating or your partner to finally have the love you deserve. And I know that sounds like, oh my God, Riana, is that really true? Does that really happen? And like I said, I'm so glad I have grads in the room and students in the room, because it's a trusting journey that you take with me. And I either do one-on-one or very small groups. 12 to 15 people is all I take, because I'm invested in each one of your growth and making sure we ease all the trauma that you have come with. And everyone has a different degree of different things of the 10. So I have to remember all your stories and the backgrounds and everything else to help sure that I am healing them for you. Let's get back to the mistakes. Number 5. Dating long distance partners. You have to realize, who are these people? Really, you don't know. And just know that the scam artists look for older, lonely, vulnerable, often if you mention religious people, long distance partners, and they really throw on massive charm, which we call love bombing. There is all kinds of rules that I have written into both Dating to Mating and Success in Dating about what to do and not to do, so you are not a victim of these types of predators. Always date only up to 45 minutes away. Most of these men going after women live out of their areas, and they're cheaters or scammers looking for money or fast hookup. They're going to charm you. They're going to tell you they have all this wealth and all this success. You have to be smarter. Definitely be dedicated to stop dating these types. Mistake number 6, not understanding the mindset for success, which is part of the art and psychology of dating. Because everyone says, oh my God, it's so hard to date. I can't find anybody. Trust me, it's not. The world is so abundant. And I love that Amber's on the line today. And she gave me this incredible testimonial a day or two ago. And it's not on this PowerPoint, but I have it. I can show you after the PowerPoint. And she goes, dating is not hard. And she's dating doctors and engineers, and said she dated more before she married her partner. So she's dating more now. And they just started out on dating about a month ago. We just hit the dating material after healing the trauma piece. When they're ready, psychologically ready, man, boom, it happens quick. And everyone's having such a great time with their dating. What most people are doing to find partners is not working because you weren't taught what to do. So again, it's not your fault. We have these simple self-help books and they all say the same thing. The dating tips are always the same. Mine are not the same. They're very deep mental health, psychological things. And that's why I combine trauma healing, psychology, and the art and research on love. So these are just some of my people with their success stories. Maria, older woman over 60, she was 63, dating someone who was totally taking advantage of her. And she wanted engagement, not necessarily married. She was successful on her own. And she had a lot to protect. So I'm very protective of my client and I helped her with all that. She has a story I'll tell you right after this. Oh yeah, I was in a very toxic marriage. I have a tape on her, so you'll listen to her story a little bit. She ended up marrying a very wealthy man and they're living in a mansion on the ocean. They had a baby girl together. She already had a son and they had a beautiful little girl together. Dan is in the center. I love Dan. Dan is an amazing local person from Delray. That's his engagement picture. So shy and afraid to date and so taken advantage by other girls. What a good person. I said, babe, you deserve someone really, really awesome. And he found one. Scott is my guy from Radical Dating, happily married. And that's Jacqueline, beautiful Jacqueline. That's her engagement picture. And like I said, I just opened and saw her marriage picture this morning. Okay, so it's imperative that you learn how to date successfully from an empowered place of knowledge. Get the latest research and education on knowing who to date and why. And again, it's not hard when you know what to do. Many of our clients are happily married and engaged. So don't keep doing what you're always done. That's what we call insanity. And that's where the frustration comes in. Some of my other clients, upper left, is Karishma. She came to me at 30, did the dating to mating group, never dated. Came from a very strict father in India, was not allowed to date. She was scared to death, had no idea what to do. And now she's engaged. Leah, her story's on here tonight, happily engaged to her ideal partner. And there's my Bob. Bob always sends me pictures from White Knight on his cruises. That's his lady. 4 women divorced him. He did have an alcohol issue and a gambling issue. He stopped those, but he said, I stopped them. Why are these women still leaving me? Because he didn't fix the root of the issue. So if you've ever dated anyone in AA or NA, very often the personality issues still continue after rehab or after, being sober, because the childhood trauma piece was not healed. And his testimonial is lovely. If you've ever like to see the testimonials, guys, I'll be glad to email them to you. And he just said, Riana, you're never too old for love. Everyone should do this. I'm the happiest I've ever been in my life. So if I could do that for him at 75, I'm just saying to you guys, don't wait. Everyone is deserving of a beautiful partner. That's my lovely Jamie. Also had a toxic partner, very successful young lady, now married. They have a beautiful little girl, Karen, her partner and her Raj. They came to me with massive issues. I solved the issues, and then I had the honor of marrying them in a civil union up in New Jersey before there was marriages. And they've been together. Okay, that was 2006. So I think they're about 15 years now together and doing fabulous. And Lisa's on the bottom corner, married with a little girl. I see these journeys and they just keep going, and it's just so beautiful. Mistake number 7, get the date, guys. Don't have these text relationships. So many people just hang on and text, and then they call, or these people requesting FaceTime dates and you don't even know them. And the thing is, I want you to know they're testing you. How far will you go to give them all this time and attention? And that is showing a lack of self-esteem. So you're establishing a text relationship and never meeting this person. Again, there's an art and a science of getting the date you want. So many men are asking for pictures today. They just want attention, never intending to ask you out or spend money on you. Stop wasting your time. You must get off the apps. Yes, my people are in dating apps, but the right way. They have all these rules around them, and I write their profiles and I pick their pictures so that they are successful online. But that's only one small way to meet people. There's a lot of different ways, and that's what you have to know. 1 to 2 texts, a phone conversation, there's rules around that. Then get the date if you want it. And if not, disengage at that time, but stop telling these strangers so much about you. It can be very dangerous.
Do you have the mindset for success? Or are you feeling frustrated in life or your career? Or stressed you can't find love or happiness? Hi, I'm Coach Riana Milne, and I can help you turn your pain into your purpose and passion by using my Mindset for Success system. Learn the Motivational Mindset for Success coaching system that has helped thousands of my clients over 40 years, and it can help you too. It's time to create the life you desire and to have the love you deserve.
Mistake number 8, thinking dating down doesn't matter, or you settle for less, or you're falling in love with one's potential, their dreams. And it's like, oh yeah, they're in grad school. So, or they're going to be a doctor. And you've got to date at your level and one step higher if you're a woman. Because ladies, once you become the man, if you start supporting a man, you're going to lose the respect, passion, and desire for him. Now, I know a bunch of you may say, oh, that's really stereotypical, or that's really old-fashioned, Rihanna. It's like, I'm sorry, guys, I'm going to give you the truth. It's based in research. Caveman brain. Okay, number 1, attraction is the most important thing to them. As shallow as it sounds, us women have to accept it. Men, if you're on the line and that, chat in that, is that true? Like, you have to really be attracted to the woman. And that is caveman brain because they procreate the race. And men have to understand the number 1 thing a woman needs is safety, to feel like her guy's got her. Why? Because she is a child bearer. So again, this is cave woman brain. This is how we are born. So whether we want it or not, like I have the most successful women in the world, but they still want to feel that that man has got her. And if the woman is the stronger one in the relationship and supporting him and paying the bills, everything's a flip-flop. Relationships get all screwed up. Ladies, only date men who have their life together. Don't fall in love with their potential or financially support them or their dreams. They should be supporting their dreams and you should be supporting yours. Remember, they need to be the whole package too. My people go out and date when they feel they are the whole package. Men only date women that you trust, who will be a great partner and a mom to your kids if you're looking to have children. She's mom material for them. And you could definitely proudly introduce her to your parents and to your friends, or take them to a business event. Many guys just want to date the hot girl, and you really got to think twice about that. That was my young Dan's thing. He was dating all the hot girls that broke his heart. I'm like, you're looking for the wrong people. You're dating the wrong people. You're going to get a beautiful girl, but she's going to be the right one. And then I have to teach them everything that they're looking for. So don't date the hot guy. Don't date the hot girl. You still want to be attracted. And hopefully they are attractive to you. But there's so much more that's just the tip of the iceberg. Or what I say, it's the icing on the cake. Without the cake, there's nothing. The icing just melts. And that's what happens. People fall in love with this image. And over time, they find out the personality isn't what they want. They're not really compatible. And the relationship falls apart. Mistake number 9. You believe their words and not looking at their actions, especially when it comes to toxic, addictive, or compulsive behavior. I have this formula. Trust equals consistency over time. Are they keeping their word? Are they dependable? Can you count on them? Okay. Always watch their actions. Do not date, get engaged, or marry someone with an addiction issue who hides the use or is in and out of rehab. The lies, the charm, and the manipulation goes along with addictive and toxic behaviors. Now, I also want to tell you this, being a drug and alcohol counselor, that very often those with addiction hide it for a period of time. They know they have an issue and they're not going to show that early on. So I don't want you to feel upset. It's like, oh my God, I didn't see it till month 4. That's okay. You don't beat yourself up because they were hiding it from you. But even if you got engaged and then all of a sudden they just let themselves go and they're smoking pot every day or drinking hard alcohol every day, engagement's a testing period. You give the ring back. But be strong enough to walk away. The rule in addiction is they must be clean 6 months, go to trauma recovery. Then if you want to see if the relationship works, you might stand a chance. But if they want to get back together after rehab and it's like, well, I can still have a couple of drinks. No, then they're not taking it seriously. This is a very tough personality type to be with. And it's very, very difficult on your children if you're bringing this type of person in and out of your family. Mistake number 10, marrying too quick. That totally usually equals a lot of toxic red flags. So anyone that's trying to rush you into living together or getting married usually has something to hide. And usually they're a toxic personality type or they're sociopathic. Now, sociopathic means someone who takes advantage of another. They're after you for pleasure, profit, or lifestyle advancement. Now, most people that are identified as sociopathic are male, but there are definite feminine sociopaths as well. So our men have to be careful. These are the women that I've seen so many men in my Delray office that marry, and I hate to say it, but it's just the facts, young foreign girls that come in and it's like, oh my God, you're so handsome, I love you, use sex all over the place, talk them into getting married, and as soon as they're married, they're cheating. They use them for lifestyle advancement. So this happens both ways. You never rush moving in together or getting married. There is an underlying reason why they're rushing you. Never take jealousy, control, charm, or wanting this fast marriage as a form of, oh, I love you so much. Bullshit. Okay. These are red flags that point to toxic personality or sociopathic types. Know the red flags and what to do and what not to do while dating. My research shows that the dating patterns were the same. Usually the first 4 to 6 months were incredible, or the first 90 days. We call that the 90-day rule. Everyone's on their best behavior. It's romantic. It's a lot of sex. Everybody's having fun. It's very romantic. But then from 4 to 9 months, or right after moving in together, getting engaged, married, or having a child, drastically things could change. And this is where the toxic behavioral patterns emerge. You might see fast reactive anger and dramatic responses, emotional numbing or splitting. That means a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde personality type. And man, if you've ever had one of those, it can drive you up the wall. Socially, they're so popular. Everyone loves them. They're charming. They're outgoing. And then behind closed walls, they're like a monster, right? So it's a split personality type. Defensiveness and blame, or they won't take responsibility for their actions, or always blaming you or twisting the story, which we call gaslighting. Impulsive decisions that hurt you in the relationships means they're narcissistic, they're selfish, they're doing things that they want to do without ever having you in mind. And then jealousy and control over you, your actions, your friends or family, or when you can spend time with them. These are all some major red flags. There's a lot more. There's 36 of them. So I can't go into all of them tonight, but it's important you know them all. The fight or flight emotional reactions to adult stress occur during life transition because your childhood trauma has not been healed, or your love trauma. So do you have any of these, or your partner have any of these, or even your ex, as I go through this list? Ongoing anxiety. Now, this is so typical. All my clients usually have ongoing anxiety, especially about falling in love again. And it can lead to exhaustion and moodiness. This is very common, okay? Aggression and rage, the inability to discuss your feelings because every time you tried, you were yelled or screamed at. Poor focus because you're still stuck in the story and feeling victimized. You're very forgetful, you have mental fog, irritability could come up, frustration and bouts of depression, self-medicating with alcohol or other addictive behaviors, or they're self-centered, narcissistic, or passive-aggressive, meaning they're punishing to you. They may not talk to you for hours or days at a time, like I'll show you kind of a thing, which we call punishing. Where do the patterns and behaviors originate? If they're controlling you, they either had no control as a child or they lack control in their own adult life. To build their self-esteem, they're controlling you. Jealousy, they were usually bullied. They don't feel good enough. If they were small built male through high school, so they were bullied over that. That tends to be the guy that cheats. Now he's an adult and he needs all this female affirmation. People pleasing, verbally abused, that you will please then to not have them verbally abuse you, or you used it as a kid to be liked and keep the peace in the household. If someone lies for no reason, that's usually a sign that they were often physically or verbally abused. So they learned lying saved them. They had a 50% chance of not getting hit if they could tell a lie and not get into trouble. Manipulates and seduce. They often use charm and humor to be liked, often by their charm their teachers to get better grades, or they use humor with their classmates to be liked when they come from a traumatic home. I always laugh when someone says, oh, they must have a great sense of humor. I'm like, watch out. That could be a sign that there's some childhood trauma going on. Humor is great, but you want to make sure it's not sarcastic. That's a really, really bad habit, because eventually they're going to be making jokes at you and say, what, you don't have any sense of humor? What's the matter with you? You can't laugh, and they're putting you down, and it's not funny. Watch anyone with sarcasm. They always blame you. They'll never apologize. They never lack remorse, and they always need to be right. If they're codependent and they have love addiction, that's usually due from abandonment. But there are 24 combinations, guys. So this is, again, just a small sampling of the type of things that I teach my clients. With 8 or more traumas, usually narcissistic and sociopathic tendencies emerge. And the research shows 2 out of 5 people are sociopathic. So warning, warning, you better know what to do when you're out there dating. Here's Erin, another one of my success stories. She came to me in her 30s. She had a very difficult father who was emotionally and verbally abusive. And she attracted the same type of guy as her dad. She was in this toxic relationship for 7 years. He cheated several times. He was using alcohol, cocaine. He was angry. And she wanted to be married. She wanted a family. So she was hanging on to the guy instead of starting over. And I said, I'll get you the ring, but I want you to be very conscious and open-minded while you're in the process of getting this guy to ask you to marry him. So she did get engaged, but she ended up breaking the engagement, because as she got deeper into the program, she really understood what was happening. And then she caught him at a strip club. Now, she writes, coaching with Riana led me to gain my confidence back, getting to a point of happiness and my self-worth. I was lucky to escape the biggest mistake of my life, that of marriage to the wrong man who was very toxic. I'm now in the most fantastic, healthiest relationship of my life, and I have a beautiful baby boy who's now 7. Forever, thank you. And she has a top ABC attorney. I see him on the news all the time, and all her beautiful world pictures that they travel as a family together from all over. And I am so thrilled that she is so happy and married a great guy. She deserved it. Decide that you are to have the love you deserve. Don't settle anymore. All you need to do is get educated and be psychologically ready to start creating the life you desire. Be willing to learn what to do exactly when it comes to dating and love. Here's 5 things you can do right now to find quality love. Quickly notice the warning signs while dating, and stop dating despite the chemistry. Again, brain science shows it's going to pull you to your past attachment patterns. So you have to be really careful. 2, you must heal and overcome any childhood trauma patterns and emotional triggers by consciously choosing your thoughts, feelings, and actions about a person and a situation. So when you're choosing to heal your childhood trauma, make sure you are only with a CCTP, because like I said, I went to 7 therapists. Most of my clients were in therapy for years. That never healed them. It didn't heal me. You have to be with someone that has done the deeper and more extensive and intensive work. Believe me, it is a lot of hours of training, and it's fine. I'm happy I've done it. Choose how we react to a partner's difficult behaviors. Don't let them roll all over you. Don't let them abuse you. You have a choice to stay or go. And I want to tell you, the world is abundant. You will find more love on the other side of a toxic relationship or a divorce. Learn how to communicate your feelings and through your issues with confidence and kindness. And there's a way to do it where you never have to yell or scream at your partner. If anyone is yelling at you, you're in the wrong relationship. Learn to have a psychological edge, emotional intelligence, and spiritual mindset for success in all life areas. And this leads to attracting and having that emotionally healthy, evolved, and conscious love relationship. Don't keep waiting to get help. Gosh, that drives me crazy. Well, I'm going to wait. I'm like, okay, you waited 15 years in your marriage. You were only happy 2 of them. So you waited another 13 years, you finally got divorced, you had 2 toxic boyfriends, and you're still going to wait to get help? Why? If COVID taught us anything, it's like life is so short. You want to be happy. And now, especially with our world so crazy, having that loving partner just feels so essential. And just know your patterns are bound to repeat themselves, leading to RRS until you heal it for good. Leah didn't wait. What occurred since her life and love transformation group was awesome. And I'll play a bit of her tape here.
Everything I learned in the first session, I was like, oh my God, I've always needed something like this. I wish it happened sooner, but I'm thankful that it's happening now. For me, it was the dating part. I think I had been closed off to it. I was in a very long-term relationship and I really didn't want to. And I think you helped us so much. I've given myself so much to this program. I better do this one thing. And honestly, that's how I met my now significant other. Yes, he's my fiance now. His name is Ben. He is phenomenal. I think it's interesting because we had an exercise where we had to really write what we think the right person for us and what are some attributes we want in a person. And he has everything plus more things that I could ever want. Don't know if I've ever met such a great match to who I am ever. Obviously, I don't want to say I did this class and this happened. I think it really did. So many things happen after this course for me. But I think the big thing is just, starting to plan a future with someone else and starting to talk about family and buying a home and all these really things that I only wish that I could have when I was taking the class. So it feels like a full circle. And I think being happy in my personal life kind of overshadows everything else. The part of investing in yourself and self-care and mental health, it could change your life. I'm so thankful that I did reached out to you and grateful that you're like, let's do this group thing. I think you would be a great fit. Without that, I really, truly, honestly don't think I would be here today talking to you, engaged and happy in my relationship.
So Leah didn't wait. She just knew she was someone who wanted marriage and a family. She was 33. She couldn't afford to wait if she wanted to have that baby. And they are engaged and excited about planning a family and buying a home together. Last I did that. You can hear her full podcast interview along with Kristen on my YouTube channel. I want to encourage you too, don't move forward in love and life blindly. Be consciously aware and know that you're 100% responsible to be an involved adult yourself in your life and in your love situation. When we get you together, that's 50% of the course, healing the trauma, getting your mindset right, your self-esteem up, feeling wonderful about you, knowing you are the whole package. Then you go out and date. That's when you attract an amazing person. And Leah was so funny. She goes, I don't really want to do online dating. I'll do anything else. I'm like, Leah, you're going to do this. Trust me. So that's what she says, when I had to do that one thing, and she ended up meeting her fiance online because I totally rewrote her profile and she got a whole different kind of guy writing her. It makes a big difference. You have choices. Again, we are 100% responsible to making better, more educated choices in our life and in our partner selection. First step is just boldly face your fears, whatever they are, and say, you know what? It's time for me to change my life, to find love. There's much more that I need to learn. Just face the facts from the past and let's heal them. So it's really important you start with understanding why you do what you do. I have this saying, you cannot change what you don't know, acknowledge, or understand. And I didn't understand what was wrong. And that's where I was. So I totally get that feeling like, what am I doing wrong? And when you get it, it's like, it's a whole new life that opens up for you. And the cool thing is you'll use these skills forever. Use your mindset skills forever for whatever you desire in life. So a lot of my current class now are building a new business because I want to do that too. You face those fears of, I can't do the business. So yes, I can. This is step 1, step 2, step 3, and I help them along with that as well. It's time to finally stop any pain you're feeling, the fear and frustration of dating or toxic love, and to take today's immediate useful information and start your lasting life and love transformation too. I encourage you to listen up for this because I think it's something you'd really love, like my current students do. It really is for those who want to have the edge and save time, money, no more broken hearts, feel empowered and controlled in their dating journey, and end all frustrating in dating. They're really ready to be and attract an emotionally healthy partner. What we do is we heal your past childhood and love traumas, turn all those unconscious actions into full conscious awareness. You're going to learn the watch me mindset for success in all your life areas, every life area we touch on. Learn the exact dating skills and strategies you need to have the love relationship you desire and totally deserve. Here's Beth. She's one of our current students. She's a single mom in her 30s and went in dating strategies to attract someone who is emotionally healthy.
My mindset has changed because before this program, I thought and spoke negatively and would cry about, I'm never going to meet a husband. I'm always going to be alone. I'm never going to find anyone. And that even hurts just saying it again. I don't want to. So I'm just so grateful for this watch me mindset and the capping. That's helped me personally tremendously. And the universal manifestation spiritual practice. I love that because that's changing how I walk around and my confidence and my aura too. It's not this doubtful, insecure little girl of, oh, am I ever going to find love anymore? I can actually walk into a room now and say, hey, I can talk to this guy. I'm a great girl and I might meet my husband tonight.
She's doing very well, has a large plethora of dates and really enjoying the process as well. So what do you get in the group program? There's several slides because there's a lot that you get. First, the trauma recovery, personal transformation, the mindset for success that they're talking about. And then part 2 is the dating relationship skills. So you're going to understand and practice how to use these skills, and you will use them the rest of your life. This is what adds to the confidence and self-esteem. And all my trauma training says it takes 6 months to really ingrain these new patterns into your mind and your life. Dating to mating is that research-based system. It has 90 pages in a workbook, the Live and Love Beyond Your Dreams books. It is all research-based, like you just learned a little bit of it tonight, and it's transformed so many lives, all these marriages, all these engagements. You know, it's nice to see this working over and over and over again. The classes are bi-weekly, meaning every other Monday night, virtually on Zoom. First hour, you're going to learn trauma recovery and mindset skills or dating skills, depending which week we're in. And then the second half is Q&A on the lesson and then their own coaching concerns. And I laugh because I say 2 hours. I mean, ladies, how often have we gone 3 hours, 4 hours? But I'm there because I really care. There to answer my students' questions. I want them to succeed. This is my passion, and I take personal investment in every client that comes to me that they will want to write or say a testimonial to. So it's super important. You'll get 1 hour private coaching. So you'll get 2 30-minute private sessions over the 6 months. You can choose when to have them. Ideally, you'll have one for mindset and one for the dating process. Accountability partners. I actually set you up with a partner who I think is a good match for you. And you become buddies and you talk your goals and you work your goals for throughout the whole program. And you can talk to each other whenever you want. So it's kind of like your support partner. They're going to keep you accountable to your goals. If they're worried about you, they're going to come to me. People have really enjoyed their accountability partners, and I've seen these partners stay friends for life. It's really cool. And here's the third slide. You get 2 post-graduations Q&A sessions as a group. There's 2 times when people, especially the men, are looking for love. Summertime, right after July 4th. So you're in the height of dating season, which is perfect for my spring group. They are out there meeting all kinds of people that want relationships. Second is around the holidays, from Halloween through New Year's Eve and into Valentine's Day. People don't want to be alone on New Year's Eve or Valentine's Day or Christmas and Hanukkah. This is a time where men especially are looking for love. It's actually 8 months that I'm in touch with you, which is incredible value to make sure your dating is successful and everything's going great. We have coach guest appearances coming on that I think will be very beneficial content for you guys. And you're part of the very empathetic, loving, and supportive family. And we all really get each other, me included. You guys get me, I get them, and we're all very loving and supporting for each other. Dating to Mating program is the core group program where people go from trauma to transformation. The first part is modules 1 through 3, where we heal the trauma, do your goal setting, mindset work. And part 2 is 2 very heavy modules, dating and relationship skills, identifying your old patterns, breaking those patterns and creating new ones. And as Leah said, one of the exercises, the ideal partner for me, boom, she nailed it. Here's Marie's letter. I thought I read it earlier, but I didn't. She did SID first, then dating to mating, because she loved the first one so much. She goes, I want to keep working with you. And she learned the mindset for success in her life and love situation, and she was engaged. Her letter is, before Riana, I was feeling stagnant in my love relationship path, unsure of myself and how to best have a relationship with the man who I loved. And now we are engaged. Riana helped me with healing my past childhood traumas and to communicate my feelings with my partner. She was very afraid to do that because her father never let her express her feelings. She said, I gained boundaries and clarity in my love relationship. She was a major people pleaser. She reached her career goals, launched a new business, and found more balance and ease in her life. One of the big issues I was carrying in my life was dealing with a lifelong high anxiety. Riana was amazing. She helped me turn what I thought were shortcomings into positive aspects. I felt truly heard and validated. I'm grateful for all the work she has done for me, and I finally understand the concept of self-worth and self-love, the most priceless gifts in my life. I highly recommend Coach Riana Milne. So Nova is one of my current students right now, and she's talking about her new dating experience after not dating for years.
My name is Nova Linda Larkin. I'm from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I feel so much more confident, beautiful, prepared to go out into the world. I haven't been in the dating world for a very long time after a long divorce. The biggest thing was to build my confidence and my self-worth. That's been very wonderful, and it's been very helpful for me. So the class, I highly recommend it. Very hands-on, and you get to learn a lot. The biggest takeaway was getting to meet other like-minded women that were looking for love. The class really provided me with the words and what to say, because I've learned all of the questions to ask and all the red flags to look for. That's been the most valuable thing for me. Riana is amazing. She's very educated, very loving, and very compassionate to all of our stories, and I want to thank her so much. Enjoy Dating to Mating. I highly recommend it.
Thank you, Nova. So you two can get back out there and really enjoy dating. I know she was afraid to. A lot of people they say, well, I'll take the course because I really want my self-esteem back, but I won't date. I'm like, yes, you will. And you're going to love it. Just trust me, day at a time. And you're going to know exactly what to do to attract that great love and avoid the bad. Just one thing you should know, why my coaching system is totally different than anything else offered out there. I know I'm up there in years, guys. I'm going to be 65 this year, but I have over 40 years of professional experience, trademarked research, and many training modalities. First of all, again, CCTP is super important for you to know that I'm an advanced certified clinical trauma professional. I'm also a licensed mental health counselor, over 22 years in private practice, both New Jersey and now Florida. Certified with RCI Coaching Institute for singles and couples, and 12 years and thousands of testimonials for my coaching. I'm a certified mindset success coach using mindset training over 40 years. I was teaching at Gannon University in Erie, Mindset for Business. I was 22 years old. So that's 40 years. I had a model and talent agency in school, and I was teaching them mindset to success so they could get their auditions and believe in themselves when nobody else believed. They could be an actor, model, singer, dancer. And my own daughter sings on 3 multi-platinum CDs and really did very well in her modeling and acting career. And her own father said, you think you can be a singer? That's an effing joke. And we proved them wrong. 3 multi-platinum CDs with the top artist of her time. So you can do whatever you dream to do if someone believes in you. And I'm that person that believes in you. I'm the creator of the Childhood Trauma Checklist and research-based healing tools. I'm a business coach and college professor. I also taught at Stockton University, future drug and alcohol counselors. NLP I use, emotional intelligence tools for conscious awareness. I teach neuroscience and brain-based trauma healing, spiritual philosophy, which is really important for healing. It is not religion, it is spiritual philosophy, very different. Belief systems training. We do group exercises and learning with supportive group dynamics. Positive and developmental psychology. I use cognitive behavioral therapy techniques, trauma release, forgiveness techniques and practices, conscious and empowered communication skills, conflict management, negotiation skills, talking through issues, which most people never got that kind of training. Communication is big. Spiritual divine meditation and breath work, sexual confidence education to increase your intimacy skills, the art and psychology of dating successfully and online profile success skills, relationship communication and sustainability skills, experience as a talent agent and fashion stylist for a large department store in Philadelphia. So I know how to get your look together. I know it is attractive. I know how to do the whole look. So I help you do that. Really important, again, for women to deal with the attraction factor. Personal training myself with over 12 top coaches. I invested in the best because that's the only way I was going to go from a small practice in Jersey to Delray to global. And I needed to invest. I had Lisa Sachovich, where I paid $85,000 to work with her for a year to learn some of the techniques, get my school up and going online, Eben Pagan, Mark Lack in marketing. And, my coaches were amazing. And I really believe in coaching because it works. So I'm out there and I thank all of them for helping me with all those skills that I needed. And of course, a personal childhood and love trauma and successful recovery myself. I understand you. I get your journey and I am here to hold your hand every step of the way. Okay, here's Olya's story. She's in an oceanfront mansion in the Carolinas with her new daughter.
Like the day that I called you, I felt so down. I felt so depressed and I just needed help because I was so desperately unhappy. And you called me during the hurricane and you stayed on the phone with me listening, and it was life-changing. I was away from my family at a business conference and I could not focus on my work because I was just depressed, I was down, and I just needed help because I was so desperately unhappy.
And if you'd like, you can share some of the dynamics of where you were.
That day, I just got an email in my inbox and the subject line was about like the childhood abuse, like all that stuff. Mm-hmm. And I just knew that I had to join that podcast. And
yes. Now, for our listeners who don't know, Olya came to the United States as an immigrant at age 18 from Russia. So that was a big transition in her life to begin with, which is pretty scary for anyone at any age. And she was alone. So, Olya, from there, how does your journey begin with love?
Oh my gosh. Well, first of all, I didn't speak the language.
Right.
And started dating this, I remember the first guy, I thought he was like this big shot, and with my limited English, I started dating him. And later I found out he was the biggest liar in the world. And, due to my not enough knowing about the country itself.
Yeah, well, it's so much to learn all at one time, but he probably zeroed right in on your being naive.
Yeah, and from then on, things were just a bit crazy. So as a part of the program, he helped me change the story I created about love and relationships. So because I had all these horrible memories, and you helped me actually bring back the good memories and to rewrite the story So I didn't feel like I was unlovable or or whatever. It's just all part of the journey, and it had to happen for me to finally be where I am now.
So once you learned that how to get beyond your past childhood and love trauma that impacted you, did that make a difference in your life, and in what ways do you want to share with our listeners?
It made a huge difference. First thing that happened is that I was able to take it easy on myself. I was hard on myself. Second thing is that I was able to establish a new adult relationship with my father, because I no longer judged him for the way he loved me. Mm-hmm. And I no longer doubted that he loved me, and I no longer needed his approval or whatever,
Yes.
So that created so much emotional freedom for me that I was able to get out of like this very negative victim mind. I was able to become a more compassionate human being.
So it changes people's lives in so many different ways. And I was just trying to show you a variety of things. But again, the course value is over $30,000. You heal your past unconscious childhood trauma and emotional triggers. You learn the Mindset for Success system and life, love, and business. You understand that art and psychology of successful dating based on very deep psychological research. It increases your confidence, your self-esteem, boundaries, trust, and empowerment. And you can hear this from our different clients and students. It decreases your fear-based negative thinking, your anxiety, and your depression. And you get that loving, empathetic group support from your accountability partner and us as a group who get you. What does it cost you to say, no, I'm going to wait? Like a lot of people stuck in their trauma just don't say yes to themselves about anything. And they're afraid to take risks. And you just lose so much in life. And here's some of the dangers. You're going to attract more narcissistic partners. You're going to have more lost time to really get the love you want, more aggravation and frustration with the dating process, or not dating at all and feeling lonely and depressed and afraid to get out there. Or you're dating and you're going to have more dates with toxic people because you really don't know what to look for. The fear of not marrying if you really want that, and having the children you really desire. And again, I work with a lot of people in that age group, and that's what they want. And they really want to learn the method to do that. Unfortunately, we have a lot of hookup culture, not only in the young people who want marriage and family, but in the senior citizens. I thought it'd be over by now, but no, that's still out there. So you're going to have to know how to deal with that. Living in fear and negativity. If you are a mom, you definitely want to have an emotionally healthy partner the next time. You can't keep putting your children through trauma. And if you are a parent and I'm working with you, I will really be kind of like a mother hen to make sure your kids are okay, because I've worked in so many schools with kids of trauma. And I know if you divorced or left your partner because it was toxic, that they already have trauma. So I'm going to give you parenting skills, and I may need to meet with your kids in one of your private sessions, and that's perfectly fine. If you do marry a partner who's not good for you, again, it's going to damage you and your kids over and over again. And for me, there was a huge financial hardship when my first husband ripped off my family, and that could put you in ruin if you're not strong and enough to get over that. And more anxiety, stress, depression, over getting love wrong again. Keep in mind, our clock on life is always ticking. It's lifeandlovetransformation.com. Head on over. All the details are there. You can enroll right there. There is a bonus that I don't even talk about. It's an unadvertised special. Once you sign up, you're going to see it in the enrollment page. I would highly suggest you take it. It's an incredible deal. That's why I don't even speak about it on the webinar. You only get to see it if you're in there and you're enrolling. Take a serious look at that and consider that, because I think it's a really important special bonus offer for you guys. Top 3 questions I get, and there's more areas in there, FAQs in the enrollment page, the lifeandlovetransformation.com. What if I don't have the time? I always say you make the time for yourself because you're worth it. Really, to put out 2 hours, 2 to 3 hours once every 2 weeks to meet in class and to do another 45 minutes in your workbook. It's so worth it when you think it's going to change your life completely, or you're going to have the love that you deserve, that you've been waiting for, and finally have the kids that you've dreamed of. I mean, honestly, it's so worth it. And my people love class. They want to be there because they learn so much each time. If you have to miss, the classes are recorded. You are worth it. Say yes to yourself. Classes, again, are timed out, so you have time to do your work. It's time for practice, because this is not a thing we rush through. You're learning a lot of very important and concrete tools that I want you to really get down. And I want to say, if not now, when? Like, are you keep going to waiting until like Bob, he's 75? Don't wait till then, do it now, especially with all these bonuses, right? 16,000 in bonuses. Will the course work for you? Yes, it works. If you stay dedicated, finish your modules, do your work. So you show up in class after doing the work, ask the questions. It works. I've been doing this for years and years, guys. I mean, I have thousands of clients that have been happily engaged, married, staying married, sustainable love over time, because they have the tools. And it is completely trademarked because it's a system that really works, and it's based in research. It's not just something you just buy off the internet. Okay, I put a lot of time and effort into this. Then what if you don't have the money? Do the payment plan, use a couple credit cards. Some people say, I'll borrow some from my mom, and because she knows how I've been suffering, and most parents say yes. So figure it out. Like when I paid for Lisa's class at $85,000, someone said, you could buy 2 cars with that. I'm like, I don't need 2 cars. I need to do passion in my life, my work that means so much to me. I need to get it out to the world, and I don't know how to do it. I need the skills to know what to do. I was more than happy to invest in it. I cashed out retirement plans. I took credit cards. Now I went into my savings. So if it's something worth it to you, I always say you find the money. I take on extra work to find the money because it was worth it to me. It's worth it to have a happy life. We only had go around once, right? So say yes to yourself. This is an incredible value to work with me for all these hours. Important thing is love yourself more. We have let so many people just take our love from us. That's why it's so important we raise your self-esteem and your self-love. And this is the first step, saying yes to yourself. And I deserve this, to end my anxiety, my suffering, my frustration with love. It should be joyful. These skills will be beneficial, and you will use them the rest of your life. So it's time to have the life you're passionate about and to have the love you deserve.
I was just in a really bad place overall. I'd been through a pretty toxic relationship, doing those, series that you're a part of all the time. And we're talking about different traumas and things like that. And I was like, it kind of piqued my interest. And then we did the one-on-one. And so we discovered a lot there. And I just kind of wanted to figure out how to set myself on the right path.
Did you really understand the tie between unhealed childhood trauma and that to be showing up in your selection of a partner at that time?
Yeah. So it was more so like those childhood traumas and those coming out in my relationships. And I wanted to do something different.
Yeah. Awesome. So what are some of the lessons that you learned that you still stick with today?
There were quite a few. Meditation was a big one. And the 7s that you taught me.
The 7 Ds for success.
Yeah. Just visualizing like what I wanted, more so in life and in a relationship and everything, and deciding what I wanted, and not necessarily like someone to take care of me, but somebody that was like a partner for me. And then the positivity and staying positive and correcting the negatives with positives.
When it comes to love, share with us a bit about your journey, and then how you met your fabulous guy, Chris. And then how did you know he was the one?
So I made that post on Facebook, and Chris actually responded to it. And I had actually thought he was in a relationship, and he thought I was in a relationship. We just kind of started talking back and forth. Love to grab a drink and catch up or something if you want to. I'm just having fun right now. Like, we'll see what happens. And we went out and we had a good time, but I didn't overcompensate with anything of it. And then we went on a second date. That date lasted 8 hours. Conversation and everything was just very easy. And he's like the male version of me, and I'm like
good
of him in a way.
So how did you know the love was there? Did he say it first, or did you?
He said it first. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was very easy overall. Oh, we're engaged.
Yay!
Yeah.
Because I'm like, here's this amazing woman, successful, smart, hardworking, go-getter, just the perfect package. And I just love my people to have someone like that back. So
Yeah.
hopefully one day I'll meet your sweetheart.
And we're probably going to build a house and having kids and everything. So
What advice, in wrapping this up, would you like to leave with our listeners?
I guess the biggest thing for me was sometimes you just kind of have to take a step back from things. You might feel like, okay, well, I have nothing to do. And like my entire life's been turned upside down. Like that actually allowed me to see things a lot more clearly and what I wanted and kind of refocus my goals and everything on and where I wanted to be.
I am back. Hi, everyone. What questions do you guys have? I'm ready for you. Oh, Jody, your daughter has Epstein-Barr virus. I'm sorry. And your ex is a narcissist. It's that long-time stress, the cortisol levels being up for such a long period of time. It's really important that you do study holistic health to keep that at bay. Sanjay, how does one discover one's own trauma? With a discovery session, how does one characterize issues versus trauma? I decipher the scales. I call severity scale from 1 to 10. Here's an example. Boy, a man would say to me, yeah, I got beaten a lot by my father. I said, how many times do you remember? 2 times, 10 times, every day, twice a week. And he says it was mostly every day when he was drunk. That's a 10. Okay, if they say, I remember 2 bad beatings throughout my life, and I said, well, that must have been hard for you. How severe would you say that impacted you? And they might say, well, 3, maybe a 4. It depends. I might ask them or I will decipher it for myself. I hope that makes sense, Sanjay. And issues versus trauma. Well, the traumas are listed very clearly on the childhood trauma checklist. I would not call them issues. They are trauma that impacts your psyche, the way you feel about yourself, your personality, your mindset, how you think about things, whether you take risks or you're afraid. That's how I said many people are afraid to say yes to themselves. And the first step is saying yes to yourself and getting help and getting rid of this. The traumas are impacting your quality of life in all areas, your career, friendships, relationships with parents or siblings, success and love. So it shows up in many different ways, and especially self-esteem and self-love. Okay, happily dating because of Riana. Thanks, Amber. Dating coach told me I come across as very masculine, which I don't try to do, but I was in the active army for decades. God bless you. I have a lot of military family. Thank you for your service. That's fabulous. Any advice? Yeah, be proud of it, girl. Own yourself, own your authenticity. This whole be masculine, be feminine. Look, I got a lot of tomboy in me. I grew up 4th out of 5 kids in between 2 brothers who I'm super close with. I built forts. I was quite the tomboy, but then I also had my feminine side too, with going to modeling. So you embrace that part of you. That part of you is probably the risk taker. That part of you is strong. That part of you feels proud of who you are to serve your country. That's a blessing. I don't want you to ever downplay that part of yourself. It's something to be really proud of, but we can nurture more of the feminine, and I would help you do that. Don't worry about that, please. I mean, I just think that's anyone military is like an incredible quality for me. Nurture it and be proud of it. And we'll work on the feminine stuff. I'll teach a little bit of that. We teach style and putting things together. So I do hair, makeup, to help you with all of that. Anybody else have questions or want to unmute their mic or share? Any of my students want to share? Kathleen, that's such a 180 degrees from the dating coach. Sorry, I'm totally different, and I love it. I've always been different. Really embrace where we are different. That gives us our personality and our sense of pride. I really want you to just really love and respect that. It's kind of like, and I've mentioned this in classes before, where dating coaches, quote unquote, will say, you've got to be vulnerable to find a guy. And I usually give the definition of vulnerability because I think it's such a riot. If you ask your Alexa the definition of vulnerability, it's like being prone to weakness and attack. Then so many women would say, well, why do I end up with a narcissistic person? Because you're taught to be vulnerable. No, be empowered. Doesn't mean you're overly masculine. It means you're strong in yourself. But the spiritual side of us gives us our loving kindness. We're like open heart, open minds, right? So we have this loving kindness about ourselves, but we're also strong to stand up for ourselves and what we need and how we have to communicate. And even if we don't like the person we date, it's like, it's a pleasure to meet you. I just don't think we're a match. We can easily say that and still be kind, because you never know if you're going to run into that person in town. The right person will embrace those qualities in you. Absolutely. There's a lot of people that feel like me. I love service people. I mean, our firefighters, our police officers. I had a ton of firefighters and police officers in Jersey as my clients, especially after 9/11. We're so happy to, be able to help them through that kind of trauma. What is the brand of the eyeshadow you use? Oh, I look beautiful. Oh, thank you. I pick up different brands of eyeshadows, but I really love my skincare. I use Clarins, which is all natural foundation, really good for your skin. And I like a more moisturized skin. So instead of a matte look, so I use good skincare, SkinCeuticals, which is an oil, and then moisturizer over that, and then good foundation, and then eyebrows, and then a blue pencil because I have blue eyes. So it kind of helps my eyes pop, and then just white, and then highlight, which is like bluish gray. So that's what I use. And sometimes pink lips, sometimes orange. Because I'm blonde, I can kind of wear both. But we talk about that. I usually do that with my people's private sessions. We talk about their hairstyle and maybe, changing it up and what type of makeup to look for or lip color to wear. Because I was a model and talent agent. I did that for all my people. But thank you. That's sweet. It's small group. And I do that for a reason, because I want everyone to have their transformation. And I want to make sure I answer everyone's questions. If I had 200 or 50 in a group, I couldn't do that. You're not going to get the same experience. I don't like those big group classes. Oh, Steph, you have your hand raised, sweetie. I'm sorry. Go ahead and open your mic and chat.
Hi, everyone. I just wanted to say I can highly recommend your class. I love Riana. She is so loving and caring, and she really wants us to be educated. And it's a safe atmosphere. The whole class is safe and confidential, and all the women there are great, and it's an uplifting atmosphere, and you get to understand your patterns from the past and change them, and so you don't make the same mistakes all over again, and attract new partners and new people in your life.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Anyone else want to share anything? Well, if nobody else has any questions or anything else to say, my email is rianamilne@gmail.com. Again, if you want the Life and Love Discovery session, that first session where we tie the traumas into what's going on in your life right now, that 90-minute private session, we do it on Skype. If you would prefer to talk to me about a private VIP experience one-on-one, just tell me that in the email as well. And of course, if you have any other questions, send them to me in your email too. Thanks, Hattie. I'm glad it was helpful. So if anything has come up like tonight, and it's like, I want to email Riana tomorrow, don't be a stranger. Like, I keep things small, even though I'm global, for a reason. Because I don't want to be that big person that nobody knows. Like, anybody can email me and I answer them back. I don't have someone else answering my emails. Jody, thanks. I'm glad you felt you learned a lot. So I'm always here for you. That's how I've run my business for 22 years. I'm very personable, and I appreciate the ladies sharing that. And Amber's on tonight, and Amber sent me a beautiful tape that my guy Garv got back to me, but I had already completed the PowerPoint, but I might share this if I'm able to bring it up, just to give you some more encouragement.
Hi, my name is Amber, and I'm currently one of Riana's students in her group. I am coming out of a toxic long-term relationship / marriage of 17 years. People say that it's rough out there now, but I feel like if you have the right tools and the right feedback and your own healing journey, it's actually fun. It's so crazy to think that I've dated now more and I've seen more people than I ever did before being married and deciding such a huge life choice. I think learning all of this has been absolutely instrumental in helping myself heal and giving me the tools to find someone. And so I think it's a great opportunity and investment in yourself.
Thank you, Amber. I didn't want to not show that since you were so sweet to send that to me. She was also saying that she was dating a lot of very good professional men, doctors and engineers from very good areas of town. So I'm proud of these guys. You know, they're doing great stuff. I said, I'm the mother bird now. I'm pushing you out of the nest. Get on out there. We rewrote everybody's profiles. We picked up pictures. You go. And they're like, this is easy, you know, because it all comes together. All right, you guys, you know what to do. Email me, rianamilne@gmail.com. Remember, it is time to create the life you desire and have the love you deserve. Don't wait. Love you guys. God bless and have a beautiful week. And I hope to see you in class really soon. Bye-bye.
That I called you, you know, I felt so depressed and I just needed help. And you stayed on the phone with me and it was life-changing.
Obviously, I don't want to say like I did this class and this happened, but I think you really did. I think without that, I really, truly, honestly don't think I would be here today talking to you, engaged and happy in my relationship.
Are you struggling to find love and happiness? I'm Coach Riana Milne. For over 40 years, I've helped thousands of clients create the life they desire and have the love they deserve. Join our Singles, Life and Love Transformation Group, a program designed to heal your past childhood and love trauma and teach you how to attract emotionally healthy love for lifelong relationships. Space is limited. Go to the link below for thousands in savings.